like to talk to you about an epidemic that's going on in America called fake pharmacies. Imagine for a moment that you're getting ready to have friends over to your house, and your girlfriend or wife or whatever says, go down to the Red Box and pick up a movie, and while you're there, pick up my prescription. So you head on over to the Red Box to get your movie. It's not there. It's a little bit frustrating, you know. So you go inside to get the prescription, let's say asthma medication. They don't happen to have it in stock, so you go down to the next pharmacy to do the same thing. Your movie's not there, and neither is the medicine. It can be a little bit more frustrating. Imagine now for a second that you have to go and get cancer treatment. You get to the hospital, and the doctor informs you, we can't perform your treatment because your medication isn't available. What happened? Well, what happened is fake pharmacies. Fake pharmacies in America today are legally buying up drugs that are already in short demand and price gouging when you need it. So basically what happened is, let me give you a scenario. Jay Katera in San Francisco went to get, he has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He went to go and get his treatment, and they told him Fluorosil is no longer available. It's just not out there. We're going to have to postpone your treatment. He said, well, is it not out there, or is it just not available? Well, it's just not available. They do find it, however, a $6.50-something vial of medication is now $60. Drug shortages in America, in this country, are giving rise to a new scam referred to as fake pharmacies. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to inform you on how this whole process works, from its inception or the prognosis, why are they out there, the disease, what it actually is, and the infection, how it affects you, me, and the rest of society. So first we're going to start off with the prognosis. Why is it out there? Well, there's already a drug shortage out in America. The reason that largely drugs that are in short demand or short supply is because it's just not financially feasible to make these drugs. Some of these drugs have been around for a while. If it's not financially feasible, it doesn't make sense to make them. Even the large manufacturers that are out there making them and selling them on to wholesalers are not supplying enough to supply the regular individuals that need these drugs. So we already have a shortage. So what a fake pharmacy does is it recognizes these drugs as a shortage, and it goes and it buys these drugs up and holds on to them. The disease is, a fake pharmacy is very simple. The normal procedure is a manufacturer makes the drugs. A wholesaler purchases those drugs. A hospital's pharmacy buys those drugs for the patient. What a fake pharmacy is, you have a wholesaler that buys the drugs from the manufacturer. Major manufacturers would be like GlaxoSmithKline, Pfizer, Teva, Hospira. These are major manufacturers of drugs. And then you get into wholesalers. Major wholesalers would be like AmerisourceBergen, McKesson. These are some of your major players. The major players are not the problem. It's the small player that comes in and says, you know what, I'm going to be a wholesaler. So they buy up these drugs. Then these wholesalers, these small wholesalers, open up their own pharmacies. Now these pharmacies don't really exist. They exist only on paper. So they can buy these drugs from the manufacturers that are already in short supply, stock that drug, say they sent it over to a pharmacy that doesn't exist. When the hospital pharmacy needs this drug, they're out there looking for it. They're contacting these wholesalers. Do you have it? Do you have it? The smaller wholesaler says, no, I don't have it, but I can get it for you. Well, okay, well, we'll take it. Well, it's not $5 anymore. It's now $75. For one, I've got to buy it from this pharmacy I already sold it to. These drugs never left this small-time wholesaler. They've actually stayed here. So that's basically what a fake pharmacy is. And now we're looking at the infection. How does it affect you? Well, all of us have either known somebody or actually have been to the hospital ourselves. If you've done any long-term care or known anyone who's had any long-term care, you'll recognize that their cost for medication isn't always the same. So those of you who have known someone who's had any long-term care may have received a medical bill and said, okay, well, the bill last week for my treatment was $500, and I'm keeping it really low. The next treatment is $1,000. Why is it doubled? Well, it's instances like this that it has caused it to increase and double and go up. So this is how it's affecting us. Even though the manufacturer, because of supply and demand, is making low amounts, we as a people recognize every day when we go out and purchase something, the prices increase. But we don't go out and buy a jar of mayonnaise on Tuesday and expect to pay $20 on Wednesday. This is what's happening. It's causing havoc in our hospitals. It's causing havoc in our individual lives, especially if our loved ones are out there seeking some sort of medication. It's basically a trickle-down effect. This scam is real. This scam is out there, and it's just beginning to be recognized. On a state level, individuals can lodge complaints, and because pharmacy licenses are only issued on a state level, not on a federal level, the federal government doesn't have anything that they can do about it. The state, however, has the right to renew or not to renew a license for a pharmacy. And in this case, that's what state governments are doing. State governments are taking action and saying, we're not going to renew your license. For one, we went out to your pharmacy and there's nothing there. There's no pharmacist. There's nothing but a storefront. On the federal level, we have, and unfortunately it's only Democrats that have gotten involved, that are involved in the government. That's both Ohio and West Virginia. They've gotten involved and decided to draft a House Resolution 5853, which doesn't specifically deal with fake pharmacies, but does deal with gray marketing. Gray marketing is marketing that we really don't have a law set out for, but we do recognize that it's not legal. Every day we see something, we're like, oh, that's not legal, or that's not good, but there's not a law against it. That's what House Resolution 5853 is doing with as far as marketing that we see, and it doesn't necessarily just deal with fake pharmacies, but it's a good start to say, no one says you can't open up a pharmacy. There's no law that says you have to have a pharmacist there. There's no law that says you have to have a product there. But when we pass laws that prevent the beginning action, it's just a start. So in conclusion, we just want to make you aware that it's out there. So I want to have individual awareness. I also want to reiterate that, one, we talked about the prognosis, that what causes it, two, what it actually is, and three, what it's affecting or who it's affecting.
Thank you.
I have a question. Where are these fake pharmacies located?
So far, they've located in